My name is Olivia Sterling. I'm 28 years old, and 13 years ago, on a stormy October night, my father looked me in the eye and said, "Get out. I don't need a sick daughter like you." I was 15 years old, soaking wet, with nowhere to go. The reason? My younger sister told a lie, a calculated, deliberate lie that my parents believed without question. 3 hours later, police called them to the hospital. I had been hit by a car. When my father walked into that hospital room and saw who was sitting by my bed, his hands would not stop shaking. The woman beside me was Dr. Eleanor Smith, one of the most respected professors in the state. She had found me on the side of the road and saved my life. Last month, I stood on stage at my sister's graduation ceremony as the keynote speaker. My parents had no idea I was coming. Let me take you back to the beginning. I learned early that in our house, Madison's tears were louder than my achievements. When I was 11, I won first place at the regional science fair. I ran home with the blue ribbon clutched in my hand, burst through the door, found my mom in the kitchen. "I won," I shouted. She smiled, hugged me. Then Madison walked in from dance practice, face red, tears streaming. She had messed up her pirouette. Everyone had laughed. Mom's arms left me. She knelt down and pulled Madison close. I stood there, holding my ribbon. Nobody asked to see it. That was the pattern. Madison needed more attention. Madison was sensitive. I learned to celebrate quietly, to need less, to take up less space. By the time I was 14, I had stopped showing them my report cards. Straight A's didn't compete with Madison's B- drama. When I got accepted into a prestigious summer science program on a full scholarship, I came home thrilled. Dad looked up from his phone. "That's nice, Olivia." Madison burst into tears. "Why does she get to go away? That's not fair." Mom squeezed Madison's shoulder. "Olivia, maybe you could skip it this year. Your sister needs you here." I didn't go. The lying started small. Madison would borrow my things and deny it. Then money went missing from my mother's wallet, $50. Madison said she saw me near Mom's purse that morning. I hadn't been near it. Dad called me into his study. I said I didn't take it. He said Madison told me I did. I said Madison was lying. His jaw tightened. "Don't accuse your sister." I lost my phone for a month. Madison watched from the stairs. When our parents weren't looking, she smiled. That stolen $50 was just a test run. She was learning she could get away with anything. By 15, I felt like a ghost in my own house, present but invisible, unless they needed someone to blame. I told myself I just needed to survive until college. 2 more years. I could make it 2 more years. I was wrong. October, junior year. There was a boy at school named Jake. Nice. Terrible at chemistry, needed help with stoichiometry. I stayed after class a few times. That was it. Madison had a massive, obsessive crush on him. One Friday evening, the storm warning started. After dinner, I went to my room. Around 8, I heard Madison crying downstairs, loud, heaving sobs. Dad called me down. His voice was ice. Madison was on the couch, face buried in my mother's shoulder. She looked up at me, and for just a fraction of a second, I saw something cold behind those tears. Then it was gone. She showed my parents a screenshot, a group chat with messages I supposedly sent, vicious things about Madison. My name, my profile picture. I didn't write those. Someone's using my account. Then came the bruise, dark purple on her forearm. She pulled up her sleeve like she had practiced it. She pushed me on the stairs. I stared. "I never touched you." Then she went further. "And Jake, you knew I liked him, but you've been flirting with him, meeting at the library, trying to steal him from me. He asked me for help with chemistry, that is all. You tried to make me look stupid in front of everyone." I was shouting now, desperate. "She's doing this because she's jealous, because Jake doesn't like her back. She's lying. She's been lying about me for years." Dad's fist slammed on the mantel. "I've heard enough. Enough of your excuses. Please, just listen to me." His voice went flat, completely cold. "Get out. I don't need a sick daughter like you in this house." The word carved into me. sick, as though I were diseased, broken, wrong. I looked at my mother, begging silently, "Say something, stop him, tell him this is insane." She turned away, kept her arm around Madison. I grabbed my jacket. The door slammed behind me. Through the window, I could see Madison watching me leave. She was not crying anymore. She was smiling. The rain hit me like a wall, cold and furious. Within seconds, I was soaked through. I tried calling friends. No answer. Everyone was home, with their families, safe, dry. Not me. I headed toward the library. Closed, dark windows, locked doors. The bus station was 2 miles away. I walked, my shoes filled with water. Thunder cracked overhead. Lightning split the sky. I thought about turning back, knocking on the door, begging, but I could not unsee my father's face, the disgust in his eyes, the word sick. Maybe he was right. Maybe something was wrong with me. Why else would my own family choose her every single time? I did not see the headlights until it was almost too late. I was crossing an intersection. The rain was so heavy I could barely see. The car came from nowhere, horn blaring, brakes screeching. I tried to jump back. I was not fast enough. The impact threw me sideways. My head cracked against the asphalt. Pain exploded, white-hot and all-consuming. Everything went sideways. Wrong. Rain poured into my eyes, my mouth. A car door slammed, footsteps splashing through water. "Oh my God, oh my God," a woman's voice, panicked. "Sweetheart, can you hear me? Don't move, I'm calling 911. Her hands were on my shoulder, gentle, steady. "Your parents," I managed, barely a whisper. "Call my parents." "What is their number? I will call them." "They don't," I coughed, tasted blood. "They don't want me. They kicked me out, said I was sick, don't want me anymore." She stared at me, rain streaming down between us. I saw something shift in her face. Recognition, horror. "You are going to be okay," she said. Her voice shook. "I promise you, you are going to be okay." Sirens in the distance, getting closer. Her face was the last thing I saw before everything went black. When I came back to consciousness, I heard my father's voice, and then another voice, sharp, professional, and unmovable. "Your daughter was hit by a car at 11 at night in a major storm. She is 15 years old. I need to understand why she wasn't home." There was a family situation, a discipline issue. "A discipline issue," Dr. Smith repeated the word slowly. "What kind of discipline issue involves putting a child out in a storm?" A social worker came. Her name was Rita. She asked gentle questions about my home, my family, what happened that night. I told her everything. Madison's lies, my parents choosing her every time, the words "sick daughter." When Rita told me I had options and didn't have to go back, I had nowhere else to imagine. Dr. Smith knocked on the door, stepped in. She could stay with me, foster placement, temporary until we figure something permanent. I stared at her. "Why would you do that? You don't even know me." She sat on the edge of my bed. "Because someone once did it for me. When I was 17, my family kicked me out. A teacher took me in, changed my life." She touched my hand. "You are brilliant, Olivia. Don't let anyone tell you you're sick. Don't let anyone dim that light." I made my decision in that hospital room. I chose different. Dr. Smith's house was quiet and full of books and soft classical music. She gave me the guest room, said I could decorate however I wanted. She exposed me to university lectures, research symposiums, dinners where people talked about education policy and equity and change. "Education is freedom," she would say. "Knowledge is power. No one can take that from you." I threw myself into school. Straight A's were no longer just grades. They were proof I was not sick, not broken, not wrong. I heard things about my old family through mutual friends. Madison was still the golden child. My parents had removed my photos from the house, as though I'd never existed. Good, I thought. Let them erase me. I'm building something better. I went to university on a full scholarship, majored in education policy and social justice, graduated summa cum laude. Eleanor cried at my ceremony. At 25, I had an idea, a scholarship program for students from difficult family situations, kids who had been kicked out, abused, neglected, told they were not enough. I called it the Second Chances Scholarship. Eleanor helped me write the grant proposals. We secured funding, launched the program at one university, then two, then five. By 27, we had awarded over $200,000 and helped 47 students stay in school, stay alive, stay hopeful. Then my colleague David knocked on my office door. "Olivia, you are being considered as keynote speaker at a graduation ceremony, Riverside State University." My stomach dropped. That is my sister's school. David blinked. "You have a sister?" "Not anymore," I said quietly, "but yes, she graduates this spring." The ceremony theme was resilience and educational equity. I accepted. I wrote my speech over 2 weeks. Eleanor advised, "Do not mention names. Tell the story. Let people connect the dots themselves." The morning of the ceremony, I wore a navy suit, Eleanor's grandmother's pearl necklace. In the mirror, I looked confident, successful. Nothing like the soaked 15-year-old who had been told she was sick. I arrived backstage, scanned the graduate list in the program. Row 3, Madison Sterling, Bachelor of Arts, Communications. My heart kicked against my ribs. Eleanor found her front row seat and nodded once, small, encouraging. President Walsh touched my shoulder. 5 minutes. I breathed, smoothed my suit, and walked onto the stage. From the podium, I could see hundreds of faces, and then I saw them. Row 3, Madison in her cap and gown, mid-clap, smiling. Then she looked up and saw me. Her hands froze. Her smile faltered. Confusion, then recognition, then shock. Her mouth opened, no sound. Behind her in row 8, my parents, still applauding politely, not yet understanding. I adjusted the microphone. "Good morning." My voice carried clear and strong across the auditorium. Today I want to talk about resilience, about what happens when you lose everything and find yourself anyway. Dad's head jerked up. He leaned forward, squinting. "Let me tell you about a 15-year-old girl. She was told she didn't belong, that something was fundamentally wrong with her, that she was too broken to keep." Mom's hand gripped Dad's arm. One night in the middle of a storm, she was put out, told to leave, told she wasn't wanted anymore. She wandered alone in that storm for hours. She was hit by a car, nearly died. Madison had gone completely still. But someone stopped. Someone helped. Someone saw potential where everyone else saw problems. That person became her family, her mentor, her mother in every way that mattered. Eleanor's eyes were bright with tears. I paused, let the room breathe. That 15-year-old girl was me. The auditorium went silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Dad half stood. Mom pulled him back down. Both of them staring, mouths open. Madison looked like she wanted to disappear through her chair. Students around her were whispering, pointing. I am here today because Dr. Eleanor Smith did not give up on me when my own family did. She taught me that rejection is not the end, it is a beginning. I looked directly at Madison, steady, calm. The Second Chances Scholarship was born from that experience. It exists for students who have been told they are not enough, dismissed, abandoned, cast aside. Because being rejected does not define you. What you do afterward does. A woman in the back whispered, "Is that really her family?" I continued, unshaken. I learned that family is not always biology. Sometimes it's choice. Sometimes it's the people who choose you when others walk away. And I learned that success is not about proving people wrong. It's about building something meaningful despite them. Standing ovation, rising slowly from the back. Faculty, families, students, all of them standing. My parents stayed seated, pale, frozen. Madison did not move. After the ceremony, they found me near the side entrance. Dad looked 10 years older. Mom's makeup was smeared.
Madison hovered behind them, eyes red. I stopped 3 feet away. You wanted to talk. We did not know you would be here, Dad said. I am sure you did not. You look well, Mom's voice broke. I am well. Eleanor made sure of that. We owe you an apology, Dad's voice cracked. You owe me a great deal more than that, but an apology is a start. We made a terrible mistake, Mom said. We should have protected you. We should have listened. You chose Madison's lie over my truth. You called me sick and threw me out into a storm. That's what you did. I have regretted that night every single day for 13 years. Tears ran down my father's face. Good. Then when you ask what you can do to fix it, the answer is nothing. It is too late. You made your choice. I made mine. Madison's friends approached and confronted her in front of everyone. You told us she was dead. Last year, you said she died in a car accident when you were 12. One of them turned to me, voice soft. I'm so sorry this happened to you. They walked away. Madison stood alone watching them leave. She looked at me, really looked. I'm sorry, she whispered. I was 12. I was jealous. I didn't think it would go that far. When I watched you walk into that storm, I felt sick, but I was too scared to take it back. I've spent 13 years lying to everyone. I looked at her steadily. I forgive you, for my own peace, not yours, but I do not want a relationship. Please respect that. We walked away. Eleanor linked her arm with mine. I did not look back. My speech went viral that week. 100,000 views, comments from people who recognized their own lives in my words, women who had been the family scapegoat, children who had been told they were broken, people who needed to hear that survival was possible. 2 weeks later, Dad came to my office. He told me Madison had finally broken down and confessed everything to them, every lie, every manipulation, 13 years of it, all admitted at once. I looked at him across my desk. Forgiveness is not the issue, Dad. Trust is, and trust is shattered. You will never know what it was like to be 15 and alone in a storm, to be told by your own father that you are too broken to love. He asked what he could do. Nothing, I said. It is too late. Today, the Second Chances Scholarship operates across 10 universities. 83 students helped. A corner office, a promotion, recognition from people whose names I once only read in textbooks. Eleanor is Mom now, not Dr. Smith, just Mom. She's the emergency contact on every form, the person I call when something good happens, the one whose opinion matters above all others. Blood did not make me my mother. Choice did. Consistency did. Showing up did. Your worth is not determined by who stays. It's determined by how you grow after they leave. That's my story. If it stayed with you, please subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Drop a comment and tell me, has anyone ever made you feel like you were too broken to love? I want to hear from you. Until next time, take care of yourself. You are exactly enough.